What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Server Error 405, and this is the Final Four Sports Program. And of course, I can't do this by myself. I have three other outstanding, very, very knowledgeable gentlemen here talking sports. And as you can see, one is a little bit different because we got a special guest. You may have seen him on View Count. Shout out View Count. Maybe even watching him on TikTok, his crazy lives late night, talking also a little sports on TikTok. We got Tyler. What's good, buddy?
How's it going, guys? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. I've always wanted to be on here, so this is definitely
Just ask. We're not
gonna be
a
a fun
hard
time.
bunch.
All right, next up, we got a man who has just the equally amount of ugly when it comes to jersey style as Tyler. We got Dre. Let's go. What's up, man?
What up, big dog?
Alrighty. And last but not least, my new favorite person in the entire world who has the tightest Laker jersey I've ever seen in my life. We got Mr. Muscles himself. We got Prince Dior. What's up, buddy?
I'm trying to take it. I'm trying to take it back to when
That's a
the
Kelsey
players
Plum jersey.
the players had used to wear the short shorts and the small jerseys. That's what I'm
Hell
taking it
yeah.
back.
That's what I
Dr.
wear.
J
That's
and
what
them.
that's what I wear when I play pickup games out here in Vegas. I
Yeah,
got
there
the
you go. There you
big
go.
socks, you know what I mean? That's
Right.
not in style anymore.
And
Uh
I just want everyone to
Kevin
know
McHale look.
I'm not a Lakers fan, but I did this for Server. I just is my appreciation.
I love you so much. And honestly, the 76ers, they haven't really been doing too much lately anyway. So,
Yeah, I might as well just be a Lakers fan, right?
fuck it. We'll take you. All right. So, there's a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. The end of what people say sports was when the NBA and NHL finished up their seasons. Now we go in that long, just dead sports time that, a lot of sports fans like us can't stand. So with the NBA finals finishing up, the Stanley Cup finishing up, we're going to talk about both. Let's just start with the Stanley Cup first because none of us are really major hockey fans. Some of us are just getting into it. Check, maybe just watch the playoffs. The Florida Panthers repeated and won the Stanley Cup, beating the Edmonton Oilers once again. And I'll just go ahead and start with Dre. See if you caught that last game, and if you did, what'd you think of it? And overall thoughts on the Panthers going back to back, just as a person who just jumped into the shit.
So I didn't catch the full game, but I caught the second period, not quarter. I caught the second period.
Oh, you're learning. Okay.
I'm
All
learning
right.
a little bit now.
There you
I know
go.
it was,
They don't
it's
score
crazy
touchdowns
back
in the
and
NBA
forth play,
finals.
crazy back and forth play. But no, I didn't get to see the full thing. But congrats to Florida going back to back. That's tough to do, man. It's tough.
Yeah. They really had a good season. I mean, they're kind of like that dynasty, like the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to compare them to another franchise in another sports, like another sport, they were really, really fucking good. Dior, did you catch any of it?
I didn't get to watch the game. I had a pretty busy week. I did see that it happened. And honestly, I was a bit disappointed because I feel a lot like I feel about the NBA Finals. I wanted the underdog to kind of pull it out in the end, even though I had no real investment in either team. But hey, Florida won. Shouts out to it. I will say that it got me interested to maybe watch some hockey next year. And yeah, I'm excited to kind of dive into that.
Okay, that's what's up. Now, Tyler, you told me you didn't really watch too much hockey, and we're not a big hockey podcast, so that's okay. But from what you've read and heard, what did you think, or what do you think about a back-to-back hockey champion? And would you watch next season?
Going back to back is very difficult in any sport. And for Florida to be able to do that, they have a squad. Like, I don't know hockey too much. I've just started getting into it like last year. The St. Louis Blues got eliminated early, so I didn't really have a dog in the fight. So it was what it was. But the Panthers are a doghouse, man. I feel like they have a chance to three-peat low key. They're definitely, I think you alluded to it, like the Chiefs of like hockey. I think that's a fair assessment. Like
Yeah.
that whole squad is nasty work, bro.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, a three-peat's not out of the question for them at all, unless they lose a bunch of people or suffer injuries next season. But I'm kind of like you. The Kings got knocked out, so I kind of like just went. My attention span was, not there. But I was definitely following along enough because the Edmonton Oilers just played out of their mind in the
Yeah.
West, and they're clearly the best team in the West. It's good that you actually see and you don't see this in a lot of sports, but like the two best teams in each conference actually playing each other 2 years in a row. Like there's no doubt that both of those, teams are the best in their conference. So,
Right.
imagine if you saw that in other sports, things would be very different. So speaking of other sports, we're going to now go into the NBA Finals, which just ended. And we have,
You saw me move up like,
yeah,
here
I
I
got
come.
your attention. I saw you leaning back. I was losing a little bit with the hockey, but we won't have to worry about hockey no more. It's okay. No more hockey for a while. So the OKC Thunder, they are your new NBA champions. I think most of us kind of, predicted for the most part it was going to be a long series. Indiana, they had a legit shot up until the first few minutes, and then their main guy Ty just, those low tops, man, they just fuck you up, and he was out. Once I saw him hitting the floor, I knew that he was done.
Yeah.
You're not doing that shit if you just, maybe hurt something that's not that big, and you could play on it. But,
Yeah.
let's start with Dior. Dior, what'd you think of the game and the future of both franchises into the next season?
I mean, the game was what it was. Unfortunately, I mean, it looked like it was primed to be a great game. It started as a shootout. It looked like Halliburton was like primed to have an amazing game. He was primed to have a big night. He was quickly taking over the game. I think up to that point he had what? Let me see what I wrote. It was 9 points. He was 3 for 4 beyond the arc. But then when he got hurt in the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell as soon as he went down. He was in pain, yes, but I think that he was like almost crying from like knowing this. Damn, here I go. It's not like I think it was more the disappointment than the pain.
Yeah.
And then from that point, it just really, the Pacers did put up a valiant effort. I mean, TJ McConnell was trying to play hero to the best of his ability, and for a minute, I thought he was going to do it, but OKC was just too much. As with SGA ended with 29, 12 assists, 2 blocks, 5 rebounds, a steal. Yeah, and then of course he was money from the free throw line like he always is. So
yeah, shocker. Yeah,
shocker. You can't really beat that. So I think it was just kind of written in the stars. Not the underdog taking over story I really wanted, but it is what it is. Shouts out to OKC, I guess.
Okay.
The Pacers, I think, have a really good future. If Halliburton doesn't have like a career changing injury, then I think that the Pacers will be right back where they were next year.
Dre, what do you think?
I'm very annoyed by the Pacers organization. In a situation where Tyrese Halliburton gets hurt initially, it's a very big risk for him to play if he plays. There's a possibility he can injure himself further than just one game. This is an injury that has ruined many basketball players' careers. We just watched Tatum go through the same thing. Damian Lillard went through it the first round. That's 3 of the same jersey numbers getting hurt with the same injury. They could have prevented him going out there and injuring himself by not letting him play in Game 7. And I think that they were very selfish of an organization to let him go out there and further hurt himself, not just for the team, just for his career. His career may never be the same again after this injury. These are career-threatening injuries, and you could have prevented him from getting this injury by not letting him play. And they let him go out there anyway. Even though he went out there, had 9.7 minutes, he's the biggest factor on the court. But sometimes you got to play without your big factor, even though he's going to sacrifice some portion of his career now just for that Game 7 for everybody to just say, oh, what a great playoff run he had, but nothing came about from it.
I'm gonna come back to that take because I want to hear what Tyler's thoughts on everything is, and then we're gonna come back to that because that's an interesting take, and I want to talk about that one. So Tyler, what did you think about the game and upcoming season?
So the game itself was a really good game. Like OKC showed that the youth was definitely on their side, showed that they were able to kind of handle the like aggressive front that the Pacers were putting up all series. Like Siakam was kind of shut down a little bit. TJ McCollum Yeah, like you said, he tried. He did his best. He did what he could. But it's not a one man sport. You got to be able to. It's a team sport, and unfortunately, the Thunder capitalized on a very very wounded Pacers team. Yeah, I agree. They probably shouldn't let uh Halliburton play, but at the same time, he wasn't gonna not sit. He wasn't gonna not play the games. There was no fucking chance. He was gonna sit there and watch his team potentially happen the way it did, and he didn't have a say in it. And unfortunately, that's just the way of the game, bro. A calf strain nowadays, you could just link that straight to an Achilles tear every time. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I think just kind of just piggybacking, and Tyler, your baby's so cute, by the way. Just kind of piggybacking off of that, which is actually a good segue to kind of go back into what Dre was saying. There's no world where he would ever sit on a game 7 for the championship. It's just not like, even if the Pacers organization is just like, hey, you have to sit. We're thinking about your career.
He's
This is
not
just
going
one
to do
game.
it.
There's zero chance. Like, that's not happening. So you can't really put that on the organization, because they could have just said everything to him to make him not play. We don't want you to play. We don't want you to ruin your career. Championship is whatever. Bro, not happening. There's no chance.
No, he's a dog, and he's a dog. He's a competitor, and he's if he thinks that he's has any chance he can do it, and that's what they were saying to the days leading up. Is like, if there's any chance, then he's gonna play. And I understand the frustration, but at the end of the day, like, this is the NBA, so these guys are gonna put it all on the line for a game like this. If it was in regular Joe Schmo, maybe if it was game 1, maybe
Yeah.
but it's game 7. This is the last chance to do it. Come on.
And how many opportunities? How many opportunities are the Pacers getting to go to the championship? I mean, let's be honest. If the Celtics were healthy, I mean, we could have a whole different scenario. They probably wouldn't even made it. You know what I mean? Like, if we had like different scenarios that happen, but it's the Pacers. They're not known to just get deep in the finals.
I think that they'll be back in the playoffs next year if Halliburton can recover correctly. If it's not like a career changing and altering thing, it might affect his career like in the short term, but I mean, you can bounce back. I just think that it's unfortunate, because I think without that injury, we see a different game and we see a different result.
I mean, do you guys feel the same way about Tatum?
Yeah.
Do you guys feel the same way about Tatum?
I felt the same way, because these situations have happened. We've seen the story before with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant played hurt. Klay Thompson played hurt. They both went into game 5 and got hurt middle of the game.
Right.
They shouldn't have played. And now look at them, both on a slight decline in their careers, and they haven't played the same since.
Yeah.
You're thinking
So
about
I feel
it.
like that's what's gonna. I feel like that's what's gonna
maturely.
happen to the Damian Lillards, the Halliburtons, the Tatums. I don't think that these are just normal injuries that just come about and then we're just gonna pick back up like nothing ever happened. These dudes are not gonna play the same.
You're thinking about it.
These are different
very maturely, but like like unfortunately they don't think about it like, if they're gonna think about it like that on this game. Unfortunately, it's just like, has to be okay. Well, we got to go out there and we got to do everything, because honestly, without Halliburton starting, they don't have a fighting chance at all. I mean, who's gonna do what he does on the court?
I wouldn't say that, because the first half was really close and they didn't have him for majority of it. They only had him for 7 minutes.
But TJ McConnell and Pascal Siakam are not built to last entire games. Well, not
no,
Pascal.
I wouldn't say that they are either. They're not the real leaders of the team. Tyrese has a different type of passion and energy with his team, but it's for the other guys to step up. When it's that next man up mentality, you have to have that mentality when you go into these games. So we need the Nemharts to step up. We need the Neesmiths to step up, the Miles Turners, who's been in the league since 2015. These are guys that are supposed to have playoff DNA in their blood and step up when the next man goes down. Yeah. And unfortunately, it didn't happen, and OKC's your champions.
Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah.
That's definitely how I felt with the Tatum injury. Is once he went down, it was a whole different team. Like, the leadership wasn't there. Like,
no.
JB tried, but he does not have the leadership that Tatum has. And you can argue whatever the fuck you want to argue about Jason Tatum, but the one thing that you have to you have to respect his leadership and his ability to
And
control the
in a
game.
sense, with the Celtics one, me and Tyler now have to question JB because JB had Finals MVP when he played. So now we have to say, oh, you got Finals MVP, but when Tatum goes down, where are you?
Yeah,
What
the
happened?
You need him.
It's
He's got to step up.
such a
He's
different
got $200 million.
aspect.
So you got $2 million supermax contract. Step the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's such a different aspect when you lose that top guy and there's not like a depth chart or a solidary like second in command per se.
Yeah, and you're losing, and when you lose them in the first quarter, I mean that's
No,
like the biggest. I mean, if you lost them
Yeah.
in the end of the third or the fourth, okay, maybe those guys can come and they can have. But like these guys have to play a full game and start. Well, a guy like TJ McConnell has to like pretty much just try to take over the game to his best ability. Has to play as a starter the whole game. He's not built
Yeah.
for that, not anymore.
Especially against that OKC team. It's just not happening.
Yeah, not against them.
Yeah.
Not against them.
it's a young squad.
They played
squad that was hungry
small ball
for-
majority of the game. OKC
Yeah.
played small ball majority of the game. There was a couple plays where Jalen Williams, their shooting guard, was running center. It was a shooting guard running center because they had Casey Wallace and Alex Caruso all on the floor at the same time. They were playing small ball, so I think Indiana really should have capitalized with Miles Turner and Siakam being in the game. Same with Obi Toppin, but they just really didn't capitalize on the small ball.
They kind of shut down Siakam. I mean, that's the first
Yeah.
time they've really done that. I mean, he's been kind of the unsung hero of most of the playoffs. And then TJ McConnell coming off the bench, and like these guys were good for like they're amazing for what they do, but when it comes to taking over a game and being that difference maker, it is Halliburton. And without Halliburton, you got a different game, you got a different team, you got it's just a different result. I think that the Pacers, the way Halliburton was playing before he went down, I think the Pacers would have won.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look at it.
That literally happened. KD had the same amount of time. When KD blew his Achilles, he went 13 points in 11 minutes. Halliburton went 9 points in 7 minutes. It's the same story, bro. It's a freaky thing.
Look at it like this. With all the injuries with Boston and Indiana, right now, Cleveland and New York are just sitting back, just like, I can't wait till next season starts, because New York and Cleveland, they're going to be a problem in the East, especially with Boston, trying to recover from that injury. Hopefully guys can step up. And then Indiana, obviously, they're not going to have fucking Ty at any time soon. Hopefully he gets well, sooner than later, because he's still a young guy. Same with Tatum. Even though I hate the Celtics, I hate seeing somebody get injured, because that's someone's career. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he's a great player. I'm a fan of the game. So, but also one thing with the NBA, we'll just touch on real quick here, is the Kevin Durant trade. Some people are saying that, that wasn't a good trade. Some people are saying it's a fine trade. Let's start with you, Tyler. What do you think about the KD trade?
It's not good for the Suns, I'll tell you that. The Suns definitely lost out on that trade. I don't think they have.
Well, hold on.
Shooting guards now.
I don't know.
Hold on. Let him go. Let's hear the
They
whole
got like
tape.
4 or 5 shooting guards now. Who's going to play center? Who's going to be your big man? They don't got no big man.
Well, he's asking who wants to answer him.
There's nobody there. Could y'all tell me who's gonna be in there to block and do what KD was doing?
Dre.
When you get what fucking Jalen Green, who they're already talking about shipping off.
Go ahead, Dre. Go ahead.
All right, cool. I'm so thankful that you said it first. All right, bet. So you do realize they got the number 10 pick, right?
Did they get that from the trade?
Yes,
Yeah.
they got that from the trade.
I didn't know that.
And then they're already trying to trade Jalen
I didn't
Green
see the
too.
picks. I just saw the
They
players.
got so the Suns got Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick, and 5 second-round picks.
5 second rounds.
Oh, I didn't see all the
so
picks.
it's literally just trade bait for a big man. So they're gonna go shopping.
Yeah,
they're gonna go shopping.
They have
that's why I think the
opportunities.
Suns won. The Suns won the deal because they got rid of KD, who's in. They say he's a locker room killer, whatever. He's still a great scorer, bar none. He's still one of the greatest scorers to ever play the game. But in a game like this, the Rockets are playing for now. That's why they traded. They're playing for now because they got the young core. They got a scorer now. They don't have to. Jalen Green was so inconsistent in this year's playoffs. He was averaging like 6-7 points a game. He's supposed to be your leader, your number one guy. You can't get more than 4 to 5 points out of him when it's crunch time. Pack his ass up and send him going. You got KD now. Right. Suns definitely won for the future, though, like for sure. They are, because this is a deep ass draft. Deep.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Draft.
There's a lot of stuff.
I don't know.
Dior, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So here's the thing. I mean, I don't know that the Suns necessarily won the trade yet. This is something you have to wait and see how it pans out. But I mean, I think that. So I mean, I graded it. I mean, I outlined it all. So let me just run it back down real quick. Okay, the Rockets get a proven scorer in KD. Now he might be a bit washed up. He might be a little past his prime, but he's a proven superstar, in the league. It's what it is. He's a name. He's a household name. You pair him.
Still averaging 27, bro. I don't know about that.
But I mean, you pair him with a strong and young Rockets team. Then you got Şengün. I mean, he's already a dog. You've seen him bully Wemby. You know what I'm saying? So, if you add KD to that mix, I think you definitely have a positive. If KD does indeed still have it, I graded it a B plus trade for the Rockets. I said, and the Suns, like we said, get Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks. They get number 10 overall and 5 second rounds. Not bad at all. I mean, that's a lot of draft capital. And some semi-solid players. Dylan Brooks has a little bit of offensive limitations, but he does add defensively. So I said the trade grade for them is a C plus. I don't think that I just think it's too much to be seen before we just say they won the trade. That's my only thing.
Well, here's the thing. They definitely the Suns. It's kind of like what Dre said. They're building for the future. You know what I mean? So it's like they won in that sense. Now, will their eventual picks pan out? I mean, we'll have to wait and find out, obviously. But like pick wise, they have the structure already put in right there. So it's like they don't have to have that pressure of winning right now like Houston does, because like Dre's point, KD fits that role for them. And KD wants to win. He doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to stick around in Phoenix because he knows that there's nothing going to happen there for the next few years. So he's definitely not going to end his career as a Sun. We know that he's kind of like turned into a journeyman now, just kind of hunting for championships. He's like on a quest. So he wants to kind of do he's like baby LeBron, basically. Like LeBron.
He's gonna be in Philly before it's over.
Yeah,
he probably will. Honestly, probably will.
It wouldn't surprise me.
That's where a legend's gonna die, though. So it doesn't.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think that the Suns got the deal. They were the better end of the deal. But we'll see how KD does in Houston. We'll see if Houston, I feel like they got a little bit of action next season with KD. So are they a better team than OKC or any other squad? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited
the only thing about the KD trade is what I think KD needs to do when he gets to Houston. He just needs to score. He doesn't need to try to be a facilitator. Doesn't need to try to be a leader. Bro, you're past your prime. Go out there and go get your 25, 26 a game and help them where they need it. Score.
Yeah,
but pairing him with Şengün, and that young team to me,
dude, that 5 is a dog. You got Van Fleet, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., and Şengün. Şengün's like a fucking 10 times pal Gasol I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a dog. Like I said, he bullied Wemby. Okay, I mean, he bullied that man. All right, like Wemby had like a nice little showing against him, and then after that, it was just like downhill.
Not a lot of people can bully him. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's bullied.
He gives Jokic work on a nightly basis.
And not to flex, but like as I told you guys before, I was at Fanatics Fest and Wemby was there, and I passed him while he was walking. This guy. I don't know how he can be bullied at all by anyone. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
that guy's fucking huge.
Wrong shit
in person.
That dude's 9'15". Like, that dude is fucking crazy.
Those wingspan's like 8 feet.
Create your own height, y'all.
I ain't fucking with that dude at all. He probably can't fight for shit, but I still wouldn't want problems with him. You know what I mean?
I'm not about to test that theory.
I don't even want to find out.
No way.
When I was asking him, he was surrounded by security. So, like, I was at least, like, I don't know how, I was kind of far. He had security around him. But I'm like, yo, Wemby, can I get a pound? Dude reached my fucking fist.
Like, did you need like a booster chair or something to get out?
Bro, I was like, his
Wemby reached down, bro.
Christ, this guy's big. His wingspan is 7'7". He
didn't even reach down. His arm was already down there.
Like
like that.
Hey, he
Fuck
just
that.
threw his hand out real quick.
All right, so we got about 9 minutes left in the show. The last thing we're going to talk about, and this was heavily talked about in our Discord server, and we're going to have the link to the server in our details, like always. And it's something that Dior was I was reading everything. I didn't get involved in it. I'm kind of on a Discord break right now. But I was reading all, and everyone was getting on Dior about the take. And basically what we're talking about is his boy Sanders. Baby Sanders went too fast, got a ticket, got a failure to appear.
The horror.
He got another ticket, failure to appear. Now, here's the question. 20. Here's the question, and I'll put my opinion in here when you guys are all done. But here's the question: is it not a big deal, just a young guy being a young guy, or is it a really big deal because of him being a rookie, starting a team, new team, everything? Tyler, we'll start with you because I already know how you feel, and then we'll go to Dre. Tyler, what do you think for the people at home watching?
I think we lost it, sir.
Can you hear me?
He turned into the human remix machine real quick.
We can hear you.
Are we good?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, Tyler, go ahead. Let's
You're
hear your
frozen,
opinion.
though.
Frozen.
So my thing on it is there's potential that he's going to be a starter, right? And we've seen the whole speeding thing happen over the years. Henry Ruggs, fucking, I think there was another one most recently. Not just
Jalen Carter.
Rasheed Rice.
Jalen Carter.
Rice, yeah.
Jalen
Like,
Carter.
Huh?
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. That one's not recent though. That one's like 2019. I was talking about like the over like.
Oh,
past
okay. Well, I'm telling you, that's
2 or
recent.
3
I mean,
years.
it's hey.
Which Henry Ruggs is like 4, but like with those types of situations, it's just so hard to like try and justify speeding, especially nowadays. Just seeing how these kids have just made it like a thing that's just like not as big of a deal to them, but then when the consequences happen, they don't want to deal with them. And then the FTAs, bro, like you can't be out here trying to be like the whole thing for an NFL player is like you're supposed to be a role model. How are you going to be a role model if you're not showing up to court? You're not showing up, you're getting tickets, and then you're just wanting not to do it. You ain't what? You're trying to say you're a role model?
I didn't say that. I'm saying look at my fucking face.
It?
No, I'm saying look at my face. Come on, dude. All my thing is this. We have seen way worse from dudes who have been accepted with open arms into the NFL before they even got there or back into the NFL after they've already been there and fucked up. Way worse. He sped. Did he kill somebody? No. Could he have? I guess. But he didn't. Okay? He didn't appear to court. Okay. I mean, people like seem to forget that these guys coming out of college are still kids. These guys are still 20, 21, 22 even. Okay? Some of them are 18. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are still. So, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, you never got and had a run-in with like the law, maybe like had some weed on you, sped a little bit, whatever the case is. No one ever has done that. Well, am I the only one?
Have.
Yeah,
I have.
yeah, because like I mean, and okay, failure to appear. Okay, dude, let's be 100% real in the grand scope of things on the shit we've seen from professional athletes, the heinous and disgusting acts, and after the stuff that we've heard. Is that really the worst thing in the world? And like Paul said in the server, does that make him a garbage human being?
I'm not
Dre,
saying
let's get your opinion because we got like 5 minutes. So let's kind of let's get in there.
I'll just be honest with you, man. Like when you're coming out of college, they don't train you to handle these certain things. Like they don't train you how to act when you get to the NFL and you're a professional athlete because you're still 21, 22 years old coming out of college. They don't train you what to not do in the real world. Oh, don't. You know how many other people we see speed all the time? And we're just like, we're not going to speed. We end up speeding. I literally had the same situation myself. Just paid off my fine from failure to appear.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make him a trash human being. It doesn't make him a bad person.
That's a ridiculous thing to say.
It's just a mistake, bro. Made a mistake.
And so basically what my take is I'm someone who used to speed all the time. I probably have like 4 or 5 speeding tickets on my record. I had a failure to appear and I had a warrant. So all that got taken care of. This was years ago. Yeah, this was years ago. But the only thing I will say about it, I don't think it's that big of a deal. The only thing that I would really say about it that's concerning is hopefully this doesn't start like a trend with him. Like we don't want to keep seeing him getting tickets and having court dates and stuff. Like a bunch of speeding tickets will add up. Like he can eventually be what was the dude from the Raiders who went to jail with Briggs or whatever?
Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs.
Ruggs.
Yeah, like fucking, you don't want to see anything like that happen. So that's the thing where it's like I said this before here on the podcast. Like I want to make sure that he has like a good career and doesn't do any off the field bullshit. You know what I mean? And the tickets aren't that big of a deal, but hopefully it doesn't lead into something else.
I mean, like I mentioned, Jalen Carter. I mean, in his situation, people actually died, and he screwed up. He was a kid, and he, at the end of the day, he someone gave him a chance, and he matured, and it hasn't really been anything since. But like, people are so quick to write somebody off because they make a mistake, and it's like, okay, oh, then he fails to appear. You need to own up to it. It's like the dude's 20 something, probably driving a fucking Maserati, and like, he just got an NFL contract. So like, I'm not saying that it's right, but it's just like not unheard of for this to be behavior of someone his age with his type of money and his type of like stature. You know what I'm saying? So it can improve. It's not like something that's like, oh, we're just gonna like say he's just a bad rotten egg and that. I think that the problem is, and people are making it a bigger deal because once again, it's Shedeur Sanders. It doesn't matter when it's other people, but because it's Shedeur and he's already had speculation on him, it's going to be a bigger deal than it's supposed to be.
That's absolutely right. Tyler, final word on that. We got about 2 minutes left. So just do like 30, 60 seconds. It's fine.
My thing is, it's just like, I don't think he's a bad person. I don't agree with all the people that have been talking about, like Jalen Carter, Henry Ruggs, whatever. Henry Ruggs is the only one that's actually done time and is, actually shown that, he's changed and shit. So, like, I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't want it to be a residual thing. I don't want it to turn into something that just happens all the time. And that's why, like, I'm so against it, because he is a good player. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. He's possibly,
and they love him, and they love him there. They've been ranting and raving about how he's been maturing, how he's been a team player. He's been a great leader. He's been right. Like the concerns that everyone had going in have been kind of alleviated in a way. Joe Flacco loves him, the coaches, everyone, the players.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like this is going to put a damper on that if it becomes too much.
People let it, yeah.
If it becomes too much, yeah. So we'll say
if he's doing it all the time, yes, I agree.
Yeah. We'll say this because we're coming up on a minute. At the end of the day, Dior hit the nail on the head because he's a Sanders. He's going to have that microscope on him. So even if he had a jaywalking ticket, like they're going to make a big deal. Like, does he not look both ways before he crosses the street?
He could hurt somebody by crossing the street without.
He could have caused an accident. Somebody could have had to swerve around him and swerve into.
What about the children? What about the children?
Yeah, so things happen. Hopefully, it doesn't become a recurrent thing. But anyways, less than a minute. Thank you, Tyler, for being a part of this show. We'd love to have you back on again when you're free.
Like again. I said, my time is open now. So.
Perfect.
And so we no longer have a Cowboys correspondent, so we need something.
We need a Packer correspondent. There you
go. Be the Packers.
So thank you guys for being here. Of course, like always, Dior and Dre, appreciate you. We will see you guys all next week. Please follow us on social media. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell all your friends. Tell your mama. Tell your daddy about this show. Love y'all. Have a good rest of your day. Man.